Hey there, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome back to another episode of the Absolutely Studying podcast, where we are on a mission to unravel the mysteries of time, space, and yes, you guessed it, the tangled web of tasks that comes with being a student. I'm Terrell Celeste, and I am thrilled to have you here to join me on this expedition through the mastery of time management. This is a mission we've been on all month, so if you have not caught the last couple of episodes, be sure to bounce back and watch those in the playlist. They're all about mastering time management and efficiency and productivity as a student, but first, today we are talking about how to prioritize your tasks and goals as a post-secondary student. We have been breaking down productivity and time management as it relates to back to school and getting into that university grind. And today's topic is all about time management for overwhelmed students and prioritizing those tasks and goals. I know you're juggling textbooks and quizzes and assignments, and let's not forget about trying your best to actually get out of the house and be social. So in this episode, I am arming you with the ultimate time management toolkit to conquer all of your tasks and still have time for those much needed Netflix binges. So if your to-do list looks more like a magical scroll that is never ending rather than a simple checklist, you're not alone. The struggle is real, but so is my determination to guide you through this maze of task management, planning, prioritization, and goal setting. So grab your pens because this is gonna be a heavy one. We're gonna get started. I'll see you there. Not gonna dive into my history here, but I am really good at task management. Like really good at task management. It's kind of my thing. It's a really weird skill to have and be proud of, but that's me. That's what it is. I am great at balancing. I have businesses. I have a family. I worked full-time going through university. I still juggle a ton of stuff, and that's kind of where I get my thrill. I love being busy. I love getting things done, and there are a lot of different factors that go into effective time management. This is not about toxic productivity. This is not about cramming every single thing into your day and never having a moment's rest. This is about actually being able to get everything you need to get done and balancing all of your obligations with actually finding time to do things that you enjoy and actually go through and take care of yourself and spend time with your friends and family. In saying all of that, the very first thing we need to figure out is how to navigate your priorities. When you are going to university, time is probably one of the most valuable assets that you're going to have, and you are never going to have enough of it. You have classes that you have to attend. You have labs that you have to attend. Then you have to study, and on top of all of that, you have to actually do assignments and write tests. Now, if you are lucky enough, you are also going to want to try and squeeze in a little bit of extracurricular activities and actually enjoy this new college/university life that you are embarking on, and perhaps even just make time for your social friends. All of these things take time, and time is the one thing that we cannot make more of. But instead of sacrificing your sleeping, what I want you to do is learn how to prioritize and balance all aspects of your life. So there are a couple of things that are non-negotiables, and those are the first things you put into your planner. Yes, your planner. You're gonna need a planner. If you want to use a physical planner, if you want to use Google Calendars, I am a huge advocate of using Google Calendars to manage your actual time and use it for time blocking in order to get a better understanding of how much time you have in a day. But you could also use things like a physical planner or anything like that, an agenda, a printable schedule, and these are all going to do just fine. What you need to do is be able to visually lay out all of the time commitments throughout the week that are non-negotiable. So start with blocking off your class time when you actually have to be in class, in lecture, in lab. If you have a job, when are you actually at your job? When are you actually volunteering? All of those things, all of those little things that you have to be at physically, and block those off in your calendar first. For things like your classes, you should be able to just block those off for the entire semester. And same thing with your labs and any extracurriculars. If you have something like a job that might change with shifts week to week, make sure as soon as you get your schedule from your workplace to throw those into your calendar so that you can block those off. Another great trick that you can do is to set an alarm or extend the meeting itself to include your commute time. And that way you're not leaving places late and running late to everything. Once you have blocked off all of those non-negotiable timeframes, it's time to actually start scheduling in things that you have to do. One great way of deciding and prioritizing your schedule is to use the Eisenhower matrix. This is a measurement plan that essentially helps you to go through each of your priorities and schedule them on a scale of basically 1 to 4 and try and figure out how important and urgent each item is. So going through, and obviously number 1, those are urgent and important items. So those are items that have a upcoming due date. You have to be somewhere, you have to hand an assignment in, and they are important. An assignment's obviously urgent and important because it's due on Friday, and you need to hand it in to get a better mark in that class or to even pass that class. Something that is important but not urgent would be number 2. That's things that should be scheduled into your schedule and still taken care of, but they are not as pressing as something with a pending due date. So that would be things like maintenance studying, going back and studying past concepts or past lessons, going through and organizing your notes and reading your textbook. Those are all important things, but they don't have the same kind of pressing deadline that an assignment or a test would have. Next is urgent, but not important. These are things that do have a deadline that is coming up, but they are not necessarily important. So those could be things like paying bills. You have a due date before your phone gets cut off, but you don't necessarily have to drop everything right now to do it. Once you get that bill in, schedule some time on Thursday and you can take care of that then. But you don't necessarily have to make sure that there is regular time in your schedule every single day to address this like you would with studying. Those things can be scheduled out and addressed as needed. And finally, number 4, not urgent and not important. Those are things like hours-long Netflix binges. While it is important to take care of yourself, it's also important to make sure that you are tempering it and balancing it throughout the day. So while fitting in one episode of your favorite show is going to be a great motivator and a great way to unwind, watching 6 hours of Netflix when you have a pile of homework and studying to do may not be the most efficient use of your time. So those binges fall under number 4, which is not urgent and not important, along with the hours long of scrolling through TikTok. Next, I want to talk to you about to-do lists. These are going to help you to really get focused in on what you need to complete on any given day and help you to deliberately and intentionally get things done in the most efficient manner. So I like to set aside the first 15 minutes of my day every morning and just go through and make my to-do list. So I'll look at my day, I'll write down any clients that I have, I'll write down anything that's not urgent and important that I have to tackle on that particular day, as well as go through my number 2 list. So things that are important but not necessarily urgent. I'll also take a peek at my number 3 if I do have anything coming up. But for me, a lot of those things, I do schedule out blocks. I mentioned paying bills, and for me, I set aside an hour every Thursday to deal with paying bills and finances and stuff like that. So all of those items get kicked over to Thursday. There might be something that you missed or that you did intend to deal with on a particular day, and I would also just check over those. With my to-do list, once I have it created and set up right in my planner on that day, I can sit there and I can start to systematically work through it. I often set a Pomodoro timer to help me focus and remind me to take breaks because I get super hyper fixated on a project and I will forget to take a break. That way I can get up, I can have a stretch every 20 25 minutes of focus, and then get back to work. Having the to-do list just helps me to really focus my time and make sure that I am getting everything that I need to get done in a day completed. And that way I'm not constantly chasing my tail and chasing deadlines. I can be proactive. The other great thing about a to-do list is that you can break down really, really big projects into simple tasks and tackle them day over day. So if you do have an assignment, maybe day one, you want to read the instructions and outline the steps that you have to take. On day two, you can start drafting some of the answers and possibly even research. Number three, you can go back and you can edit those drafts and make them better. So instead of going through and having to tackle a whole assignment in one day that is both urgent and important, you can have deliberate tasks that put you on a schedule to have it completed on time. And there's no particular day when you are just putting everything else on the back burner so you can cram in a whole assignment. This means that the quality of the assignment will be better. You will have more time to reflect on your answers and the quality of the information you're giving. And the overall quality of the assignment will be that much more because you did put so much more thought in it than just sitting down for a solid 3 hours and trying to bang it out. So to-do lists and breaking those to-do lists down into specific tasks that you can tackle one at a time, great for actually being accountable to the progress that you want to make on a particular day. So set aside 15 minutes first thing in the morning and just sit down, if that is your beverage of choice, and go through and work on making that to-do list and really starting your day with intention. Now, over the course of the last couple of topics that I've talked about, I've already broken down the steps essentially to goal setting. And goal setting is so important because without clear goals in mind, you're going to find yourself drifting. So knowing what your goals are, what your clear objections are, whether that is getting a good mark in a class or just getting an assignment handed in, is so important to being able to set those intentional goals in order to set that intentional task list that you're going to work towards every day. As you are writing down this to-do list, as you are creating a task list of everything that you need to get done, you can look at that as goals and think about what you are building towards. You're building towards your career by going through university and getting this degree. You are building through to a better grade by going through and completing your assignments. You are deepening your knowledge and setting yourself to get a better mark on a test by doing these daily study sessions. You are working up to a goal by doing these daily tasks. So don't be afraid to look ahead and actually choose the endpoint that you want by setting goals. You can set goals for the month, you can set goals for the week, you can set goals for the year. A lot of people have a 5-year goal so that they know where they're going. Some people have a 10-year goal with a career in mind. There's really no limit to how far ahead you can plan in choosing the life that you want. And it all starts with the intentional setting of tasks and to-do lists each and every day. I do meet Friday on the YouTube channel live to set our weekly goals, and I meet monthly in the Absolutely Studying Academy with the students to set our monthly goals, which are then broken down weekly in those live sessions. If you are interested, I will leave links to the Absolutely Studying Academy so you can learn a little bit more about that. Otherwise, make sure that you do subscribe to Absolutely Studying on YouTube to catch those weekly goal planning sessions so you can learn a little bit more about smart goal setting. We can set some goals together. We can hold each other accountable because I still have a lot that I want to do too. So hopefully you can get some things accomplished along with me and we can all grow together. So we've talked a lot about prioritization. We've talked a lot about to-do lists and how to tackle your goals. But next, I don't want you to forget about you and your self-care. So that's what I want to discuss in this next section. Finding a balance between your academic responsibilities, your workload, and taking care of yourself is going to take a little bit of time and practice, especially in these first couple of months of school. If you're a brand new student, this is going to be a really overwhelming time, but it's so important to take care of you, your physical self, and your mental health. There's no reason to feel guilty about having to carve this time out because it is so important to be able to refuel your tank in order to keep going. So make sure that you are scheduling time out for self-care. Actually put it in your schedule, whether it is grabbing coffee with a friend or if it is sitting at home alone on a Friday night and having a facial. That is your time for you. Put it in there as a date, block off the time and make it non-negotiable. It's also a really good idea to make a morning and evening routine, something that helps you to get started in the morning, winding up. I mentioned I have my coffee and I have my daily planning where I sit down and write my to-do list, but you can also include things like having a healthy breakfast and stuff like that that will all contribute to setting you up for the best day possible and really starting that day with intention. Another thing would be the evening routine so that you can really set yourself up to win by preparing yourself in the evening for the following day. So pick out your outfits, do a skincare routine, read before bedtime, have a nice hot herbal tea. Whatever helps you wind down right before bedtime is great. If you have a 30 or a 1 hour evening routine that helps you just to recenter yourself, get you back focused on your health and your well-being and being able to set you up for the best possible sleep so that you can wake up refreshed in the morning to your amazing morning routine and then go out and have a great day. I know that has been a lot that I just dumped on you today, and all of these little tips are going to add up to big gains. So go through and slowly try incorporating some of the tips that we discussed today into your life. You don't have to completely revamp your life and start over tomorrow. Start with simple tips, simple steps that I have suggested in this video, and start incorporating those over the coming days and weeks. You can tailor your life and your time and your schedule just a little bit every day to make those little changes that will optimize your quality of life and your academic journey. Make sure that you are subscribed because next week we are going to be talking about cultivating focus in a hectic schedule. So this is going to be some tips that will really help you to learn how to focus without getting overwhelmed. And that will be the conclusion of this installment of the time management and productivity series. So thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. If you have a friend who is also struggling, make sure you share this video with them and leave a comment below if anything really resonated for you. I'll see you again next week. And until then, I hope you have an amazing adventure.